What's cooking, my people? My name is Cyblade, and today we're doing something a little different. Now, in honor of RWBY Volume 8 coming out next month, I'm proposing a what-if scenario, which is, like an alternative reality if certain things were different from the normal canon of RWBY. And today's is, well, you probably saw the thumbnail and the title. So today's video is, what if Beerus from Dragon Ball Battle of Gods and Super came to the RWBY universe and adopted Weiss Schnee? Now, for those that don't know, Weiss, or Jacques Schnee, Weiss's father, and Beerus have the same voice actor. Same English voice actor, Jason Douglas. So, but despite their voice actors being the same, they could not be further apart. So, yeah, that's what we're discussing today. So, sorry if I ramble on in advance, by the way. This is my first time and I didn't really script this, so we'll see how this goes. Hopefully not a complete train wreck. So anyways, Beerus is flying through the galaxy as normal now that he's awake for once. Destroying planets with food he doesn't like, and etc., etc. But little did he know, Champa was around scheming, trying to just get rid of him or mess with his brother like he always does. So, as Beerus and Weiss are flying at like millions of times the speed of sound, however fast Weiss travels, Champa has him and Vados just crash into them and send Beerus, not Weiss somehow, into another dimension, the RWBY dimension. So, Beerus shows up and appears like right outside of Remnant's atmosphere, but before he can really do anything, he is accosted by the gods of light and darkness that show up sensing a new god on their turf, and they aren't a fan. So they politely, and by that I didn't really raise my fingers high enough into the frame for you to see, but I did the finger quotes. There we go, that's better. So they politely ask him to leave, or else they'll have to force him out. Beerus's reaction is what you might expect.
You serious?
Okay. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait, would that work? The gods are immortal and probably as powerful as Beerus, right? Since you had to be as powerful as Beerus to survive a Hakai. And to that I say, probably not. Think the whole reason they created humanity in the first place is because they wanted to stop fighting before they killed each other. It was even shown in Crow's rendition of telling the story that it looked like the god of light was basically ready to end his brother right there, but instead said, hey, let's do this instead. Alright, back to the track now. So, wasting a pair of gods, and how they could survive that guy, there's no way they're near as powerful as Beerus, since the two of them constantly fighting for millennia did not completely destroy Remnant or their entire universe like Beerus and Goku fighting nearly did. So, anyways, after wasting two gods, Beerus is understandably a little drained, so he goes down to Remnant to see if they got any decent food. And he just so happens to land on Atlas. So he sees a nice restaurant, and at first it doesn't seem like he'd be let in because, they're a little racist towards faunus, so to see a guy who looks completely like a cat, they'd want to try and deny him service, but he just, points at a random vehicle and it vanishes from existence. So, yeah, they let him in and try not to make any more of a big scene. Because, as we know, panic draws the grim, so they'd want to handle the situation as calmly and quietly as they could. Even Ironwood, who was there for the sake of the story later, saw this and agreed, we don't want to risk messing with this guy and causing a panic. I know that doesn't sound like the Ironwood we know, but this is quite a bit early on in the story. I'll just drop it now. Weiss is a baby at this point, so this is at least 17 years ago. General Ironwood is not the man we know him to be later on in the story. So, Beerus sits down and orders basically everything on the menu and, gorges himself. And as he's doing that, Jacques Schnee and Willow Schnee have shown up for a date night or something, and Jacques Schnee, I can't talk. Jacques sees Beerus, and what he believes is a faunus, an animal in a fine establishment restaurant that he graces with his presence. And Beerus is, kind of slob, so he's just absolutely gorging himself. Little bits of food flying everywhere. How disgusting. How they allowed this animal in such a fine establishment. Adjusting his clip-on tie, which actually it has been confirmed now. It started with a joke made by Murder of Birds, but it's been confirmed now that they made it canon and Jacques only wears clip-on ties. So, anyways, Beerus hears the commotion and A, doesn't like the insult, and B, notices something. Hey, that guy sounds a lot like me. I'm sorry if that's a horrible impression of Beerus. I don't like that. Such a voice as mine should be unique throughout any universe. And it's wasted on a jerk like you. Beerus stands up, radiating God Key, or Destroyer Key, whichever, either way. And basically all the tables, tableware, tablecloths, everything just rises up from the power he's exerting, making it clear you screwed with the wrong one, Jacques. So, at that point, Jacques is terrified immediately. He knows he did wrong, so he's begging, I'm sorry, please, spare me. I'll do anything. You can even have my children as a sacrifice. And we're tweaking the story a bit to say it was around one of Winter's birthdays. Jacques skipped and Willow snapped at him and revealed, hey, I only married you for your company. So she's a bit of an alcoholic earlier on, and so at this point she's absolutely blackout drunk and doesn't register what Jacques said. But we know Beerus seems to have a soft spot for children, as, babysitting for Bulma in the Broly movie, and the fact that when one of his first objections in Battle of Gods and Super was when Mai was threatening to kill Trunks. And everyone was laughing, thinking it was a joke, but Beerus is like, a child's threatening to kill another child, and you all laugh? Unacceptable. So, same thing here. You offer your children to me as a sacrifice. You don't deserve to exist. Hakai. No more Jacques Schnee. I just killed the three most absolutely unlikable characters in the entire franchise. That alone deserves a like and a subscribe, particularly to my gaming channel and link in the description. So, with this done, Jacques looks to Willow, and she, again, had no objections because she's blackout drunk. You allow your husband to offer up your children as sacrifice and raise no concerns. You don't deserve your children. By the time you arrive home, they will be gone. Now, Beerus wouldn't actually destroy Weiss and Winter, but he's feeling mischievous. He'll just show up and have them like hide in their room or something, or just hide them away so Willow thinks, oh my god, he destroyed my children, they're gone forever, to teach her a lesson. So he somehow figures it. I know this is a big leap and everything. How does he figure all this stuff out? But he just does, okay? For the sake of the story. So he finds the Schnee Manor, breaks in, and deals with any security they might have like nothing. Not killing them, but, just a little smack and knock them out. Sending them flying into a wall, admittedly, with those tiny little smacks, but they're still alive. So he somehow stumbles upon Weiss's room first and peers in and sees that, she's a baby, and then she was taking a nap and looks up at him and immediately just smiles and reaches up for him. He looks down and picks her up, and, she's being as like a baby does, wanting to play, wanting to be affectionate. Tries, puts her hands on his nose and everything. And Beerus feels, a little soft spot for the girl. You may have a life of privilege, but with parents such as yours, even a life such as this could be a cruel one. And about now, Weiss has somehow found him again. I know I'm taking huge leaps here, but we're just doing this for the sake of story, okay? So Weiss has now found Beerus, and he's like, oh my Lord Beerus, surely you don't intend to vaporize an innocent child, even though we totally know he's vaporized countless innocent childs when he's blown up entire planets. But let's digress. No, I've taken a liking to this little one. I think we'll take her with me. Our parents certainly don't deserve to keep her. And, sorry, I'm saying parents instead of just mother, and because Jacques ain't here no more, but, oh well. So, they do that. They leave back to their universe and take Weiss with them. And so, there's an initial adjustment period. Beerus can't sleep for years at a time anymore. I mean, Weiss, of course, takes care of her too, but, this is your mess, Lord Beerus. I certainly won't be taking care of her all the time. You need to take responsibility for the child you've taken. And sorry if that's a horrible Weiss impression, by the way. But anyway, so, yeah, there's an adjustment period, but Beerus actually starts being more active and attentive. I kind of have a mental image in my head of whenever, Weiss needs her diaper changed, Beerus is using telekinesis to... Because, Ki can be used for telekinesis, remember? We've seen Goku do it before. he's using telekinesis to do the job and change her diaper for him while he's like 10 feet away in reality. But, no, he's a good parent, attentive, caring, and even when she wakes him up in the middle of the day, there was once or twice he considered just a little okay, but that quickly got him a smack in the back of the head from Weiss. But eventually, Weiss grows up into a little girl, and Beerus starts training her in, how to fight, like, without a weapon, and even training her in how to use God Key. I can already see probably a few of you a little apprehensive. Wait a minute, Weiss can't use Key, she has aura. Well, remember, Goku didn't have access to God Key before either, or Vegeta even, but they both learned to utilize it to become Super Saiyan Blue, etc., etc. So yeah, Weiss learns God Key and hand-to-hand combat, and Weiss will eventually go off for a little bit every so often, learn a little bit about Weiss's world in case she gets curious and finds out, they have these monsters called Grimm, and they have huntsmen and huntresses to deal with them, fighting them with dust and weapons. So they also teach Weiss how to use quite a large variety of weapons, just about anything you could think of, but she still gravitates towards her rapier. You might think that Weiss's attitude would get worse now that she's raised by a literal god. Would she be even more pretentious and arrogant? But no, Beerus, sure, he's a little high and mighty, but he's not super spoiled or anything. I mean, except when he destroys half of a planet for having a greasy kind of food that he liked, but, still. So, yeah, she's still a little high and mighty, but also respectable and still kind of humbled, so she's more like what she actually is towards the later volumes after volume 1 and 2, so that's nice. And so, yeah, eventually Weiss grows up, gets good mastery of God Key and everything, and eventually, because again, Weiss has been going back and forth, learning about her world, telling her things about it, she decides that eventually, when she becomes of age, she'd like to go to her world and train to be one of these huntsmen or huntresses, because the stories Weiss told her very much inspired her. So they eventually go down, find out Beacon is the best academy out of all of them, and get Weiss enrolled. And again, this might seem a little too easy, but remember, Ironwood was there, saw Beerus vaporize a couple things with no effort. He surely passed on this knowledge to Ozpin and said, hey, we don't screw with these guys if they ever show up again. Just give them what they want. So they do just that. They enroll Weiss in, and things kick off from there. She meets up with RWBY again, but because she doesn't have massive hordes of dust or anything like that, RWBY doesn't fall down. And I can actually see her stopping RWBY from falling. Maybe as RWBY's about to fall, Weiss just puts her hand up on her back and stops her. Hey, watch out, kid, this is a dangerous place here. If you can't handle being spun around, you're not going to handle the rest of this world. And so then things go on pretty naturally from there, I'd say. Weiss still has a few high and mighty moments, and she'll still be a little bit upset she doesn't become team leader, but I think she will learn to deal with it, and yeah. And she doesn't have this prejudice towards Faunus like she had to begin with, because again, she was never at war with Faunus, or her family was never at war with Faunus for all her life, and B, again, she was raised by a giant cat man, so surely just people with cat ears or things of the like wouldn't be much of a bother for her. So, yeah. This might cause problems because Blake would never run off, and so we might not have the dock incident, but I think that they'd still eventually find their way there somehow. Maybe Weiss would still be looking around for her son to observe him in the tournament. I mean, with her being with god power and all that stuff, she probably wouldn't need it, but she still likes to have the edge. Information is power. That's one thing Weiss would have likely taught her. So, yeah, somehow they still manage to arrive at the scene, and Bertwick still slips away. I don't know how, but again, we've got to take some liberties for the story's sake, but Faunus, or the White Fang, there we go, are causing havoc and everything, and she wants to settle it, and Weiss, now much bolder and everything, decides, alright, let's do it, and the rest of the team agrees. And I feel like that's a good place to stop there. So, what do you guys think? I know I probably could have gone into a little more detail how life would be like with Beerus and everything, or any special abilities she might have, whatever, what have you, but I still think I did pretty good for a first episode and my first time doing one of these videos, but let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did like it, go ahead and give a quick cut to that like button, and if you want to see more videos like this, remember, slash that subscribe button both here and definitely on my gaming channel. And also be sure to follow me on Facebook. And I'll see you in the next video. But until then, my people, stay sharp.